At this time, Don Hinkle is first on the list. Welcome, Don.
Don Hinkle. I have two quick issues on why I didn't vote for the bond. First is a long-term debt for short-term assets. So if I understood, I'm not saying I understood it right, but the bond would have gone to finance buses or computers, then that I'm against that idea. If you've got something with a known life, like a bus, and say it's 10 years, you should have the financing no more than 10 years. And that's about all I have to say on that. No more, shouldn't be long-term debt for short-term assets. The second thing, this is a little more controversial. I'll probably be going full IRS on you a bit. It is whether holding the special election was a violation of your fiduciary duty, particularly your duty to care, when it was with a little planning difference it could have been during the general election. Now, the Freedom of Information grapevine has the cost at over $100,000, and so if it were done at the general election, it would have been about zero. So now I'm not the litigious type, so you don't need to worry about that, but I will just say that if you go from here over to Reed City, down to Big Rapids, back into Mount Pleasant, down to the Tri-County Lansing area, over to Flint, and come on up to Bay City, there's bound to be some hungry attorneys that would want to address this issue. So I was treasurer for a Music Boosters down in Holt when we lived down there, and made sure that the bylaws that each individual member was indemnified by the board. So whatever governing documents you have, I am recommending that you have that so that you're covered, because if anybody did bring suit, it would be against each of you individually as well as collectively. The second thing is you should have good director and officer liability insurance just to make sure you're protected. This is just a goofy economy, and it's a goofy, litigious society we're in, so just to keep you protected, you should, behind closed doors, make sure that you're all covered and protected on that. So I think that's pretty much it. Because of a conflict, I won't be here next month. Thank you.
Thanks, Don. Joe Bonadies.
Greetings. I have a few diverse topics to run through tonight, mostly showing that the curtain is or needs to be pulled back on MPS. Sometime in 2023, all the information from the MPS board meetings from 2012 to 2020 were removed from the website. I asked your IT leader, and he said it was a space issue. Yes, videos are large files, but you have deleted your history. May I suggest that you put at least the minutes and the supporting information of those meetings back on the website? It would be a step towards transparency and away from George Orwell. In 2022, there was a 28-page continuity of learning plan hidden in the agenda package and represented by one sentence on the consent agenda. I asked about it at the following meeting. Quoting Superintendent Sharrow from August 22 minutes, the continuity of learning plan is updated and posted as required by law. This plan may be reviewed on the MPS website. The plan appears to have been reviewed by the Curriculum Subcommittee in 2023 and 2024, not actually shared in the agenda packages, and I'm betting at least one board member has never seen it. I have not seen a continuity of learning plan ever posted on the old website, and it's not on the new one, quote, as required by law, unquote. Have we learned nothing since 2022? Do we really want to do it all again the same way? can we, like, get that updated so that it reflects something that might be less grating than the last time? Next one. Regarding the 2.95 bond millage, while Phil did an admirable job at attempting damage control, the fact that the levy year 2025 ending in fiscal year 2026 started on June 1st, 2025, that is a fact. It also appears, based on numbers provided by staff, that the 2.30 mills originally and officially submitted to the state appear to still be true, which means that MPS is removing almost $2 million excess dollars from the local economy. I smiled at the "we might need it in the event of a tax appeal" argument. MPS is collecting an extra 28% in taxes. I would hope that the Midland Daily News would be reporting on a tax appeal case of that magnitude, as it would affect the city and the county as well. So it appears that the 0.65 millage reduction, which made the 3.95 feel like 3.25, is still being collected. And in 2026, the millage is supposed to be 2.19. So are we getting set up for an even bigger "it feels better" campaign next time? Lastly, I noticed that you had legal questions on the H-1B visa case in your agenda package. I hired someone on an H-1B visa while I worked at Dow. That is an onerous process. I have trouble believing no U.S. citizen can be found to do any of the jobs in MPS. Thank you.
Renita Bonides.
Good evening. I was curious why the agenda packet did not include any of the bid information for the strategic planning that you were just discussing. These have been included in previous packets for bid request. Instead, the packet only included the high-level table with a couple pieces of information noted and high-level prices. Did you as the board members see all of the bids? I've heard reference that said that perhaps you didn't. Did the FFO subcommittee make any decisions in this process? Sounds like it was just the administration instead of the board reviewing this. The agenda packet from April 21st of 25 meeting included 4 bids, and it included the actual bids in that agenda packet. Is there a reason the public can't see these comparisons now with the actual full bid submissions, as has been done in the practice for the last 3.5 years we've been receiving agenda packets? Why wasn't it included this time? We've paid over $1,200 for agenda packets over the past 3.5 years, and this information used to be included. Is there a supplement to the agenda packets that the public no longer has access to? We know the superintendent quit including the letters to the board and the FOIA requests that used to be included as well. The public was always told that no decision was being made because we always take the lowest bid, but this was not the lowest bid. You gave a reason for having chosen that, but does the public know what that really is? Because we can't actually see that information. And I do realize we can submit a FOIA for this information, but is that really how the district chooses to spend their time and the public's? This board has complained about FOIA requests, but then makes it so more information has to be FOIA'd. Then there's the current process of waiting until after 4 p.m. on the 5th day to respond to a FOIA, saying we need another 10 days. And this has been happening even with short-term requests. I submitted a FOIA request August 6th asking for invoices from the Bannock, and Cassidy, the group that actually did the surveys and community input and presentation last fall. That was never included when I did a FOIA request for all of the election-related expenses. So am I to believe that that organization did all of that work for free? How much transparency is really taking place with MPS these days? It certainly seems to be less and less. Thank you.
Is there anybody else that would like to address the board tonight? Don, just to address one thing, within the bond, so you raise a good question. How long is the lifetime of an asset versus how long is it financed? things like buses, computers, technology, equipment, for example, if the team replaces a server rack, those are financed within a bond set equal to their expected lifetime. For example, I don't remember exactly what a bus is, 7 years, Penny? Don't quote me on the exact timeline. But a bus does not get financed at the same length as a building. So everything has its own depreciation schedule commensurate with its expected lifetime.
And Bill, just to sharpen that point, the bond application has a table in it that shows the life of
breakdown.
each of those. Yeah.
Yep.